Step back in time to May 23, 1941, as we unfold the gripping saga of the battleship Bismarck. The colossal warship, the pride of the German Navy, was making waves in the Atlantic, taking down a Royal Navy battlecruiser and causing havoc. But just 96 hours later, a dramatic turn of events unfolded, leaving the mighty ship lying at the bottom of the North Atlantic. Welcome back to Nautical Depths, and get ready for another exciting dive. Today we will explore the legendary tale of the Bismarck, the most feared ship of its time. Without further ado, let's set sail into the past and unravel the mysteries of this iconic vessel. Named after the Iron Chancellor, Otto von Bismarck, who arranged the unification of Germany in 1871, the battleship Bismarck was designed to serve as a national symbol. However, despite its intention to be an enduring icon, the ship's naval career was brief. The Bismarck-class battleships were designed in the mid-1930s by the German Navy. The Richelieu-class battleships France started in 1935. Bismarck and her sister ship, Tirpitz, were laid down after the 1935 Anglo-German naval agreement, seemingly within the 35,000 long ton limit set by the Washington Navy Treaty. However, they secretly exceeded this figure significantly. The international treaty system fell apart in 1937 after Japan's withdrawal, allowing displacements as high as 45,000 long tons. Bismarck, with a standard displacement of 41,700 tons and a fully loaded weight of 50,300 tons, was Germany's largest warship. It had an overall length of 251 meters, a beam of 36 meters, and a maximum draft of 9.9 meters. The battleship was powered by 3 Blohmen Voss geared steam turbines and 12 oil-fired Wagner superheated boilers, reaching a maximum speed of 30.1 knots. The ship had a cruising range of 8,870 nautical miles at 19 knots. It was equipped with 3 Fumo 23 search radar sets. The standard crew included 103 officers and 1,962 enlisted men, divided into 12 divisions. Bismarck was armed with 8 38cm or 15 inches SKC-34 guns and 4 twin turrets. It also had a secondary armament, anti-aircraft guns, and carried 4 Ardo R-196 reconnaissance float planes. The ship's armor included a 320mm main belt covered by upper and main armored decks, and the 38cm turrets were heavily protected. In essence, Bismarck was a formidable battleship with powerful weaponry and significant armor, making it a prominent force during its time. Bismarck was initially ordered to replace the old SMS Hanover ship. The renowned Blohm and Voss shipyard in Hamburg was awarded the contract, and the keel was laid on July 1, 1936. Launched on February 14, 1939, the ship's christening took place with Adolf Hitler delivering the speech. The fitting out process included replacing the original straight stem with a racked Atlantic bow. Captain Ernst assumed command when Bismarck was commissioned on August 24, 1940, for sea trials in the Baltic. After leaving Hamburg on September 15, 1940, Bismarck underwent sea trials in Kiel Bay, escorted by another ship. Trials of the Gulf of Danzig revealed a flaw in her design related to steering difficulties when altering propeller revolutions. The main battery guns were test-fired in late November, proving ship's stability. The trials continued until December, and the ship returned to Hamburg for minor alterations. Scheduled to return to Kiel on January 24, 1941, Bismarck faced delays due to a sunken merchant vessel in the Kiel Canal. Severe weather and efforts to remove the wreck caused a further delay, and Bismarck reached Kiel in March. The ship hosted the Swedish naval attaché during this time, providing the Royal Navy with its first detailed description of the ship. On March 6, the ship received orders to steam to Kiel, encountering a brief grounding incident on March 8th. The ship reached Kiel on March 9th, underwent preparations, and endured a failed British bombing attempt on March 12th. The Naval High Command planned to use Bismarck and Tirpitz as surface raiders in the Atlantic, coordinating with the Scharnhorst-class ships. However, complications arose with Tirpitz's delayed completion and Gneisenau's damages. Despite the challenges, the OKM decided to proceed with Operation Reunigung, led by Admiral Gunther Lütjens, with Bismarck and as the primary force. The operation was set in motion in late April 1941. In May 1941, reports surfaced in England that the Bismarck battleship was on the move. This presented both a significant threat and a golden opportunity. Sinking the Bismarck would mark a monumental naval triumph, offering a glimmer of positive news amid a series of setbacks and disappointments. England, having survived the Battle of Britain, now grappled with isolation and formidable challenges, particularly in the Battle of the Atlantic, a struggle for survival. Churchill emphasized the crucial role of ocean routes and open ports in maintaining the nation's resilience. The Royal Navy faced the daunting task of safeguarding these vital sea lanes, but without the support of the French fleet. And with the United States yet to join the war, the challenge was immense. Early engagements in Norway and on the high seas had failed to neutralize the German Navy, which, by the spring of 1941, was gaining momentum in the Battle of the Atlantic. The focal point of this battle was the North Atlantic sea lanes, where U-boats had already sunk nearly 500,000 tons of Allied shipping in March and April 1941. Underestimated in the pre-war years, U-boats proved highly effective. The German Navy's surface raiders, particularly the Scharnhorst and Gneisenau battle cruisers, had also inflicted substantial damage. Now, the formidable Bismarck battleship posed a new and significant threat to transatlantic convoys. Hitler's overarching war plans depended on Bismarck reaching the North Atlantic. With impending operations against the Soviet Union, Hitler sought a compliant Europe at his back, making the war at sea a key avenue for dealing with the remaining Western adversary. Operation Reunigung, led by Admiral Gunther Lütjens, initially involved a powerful task force combining Bismarck, Tirpitz, Gneisenau, and Scharnhorst. However, due to various setbacks, Bismarck and Tirpitz found themselves operating independently. Facing their first maneuver, Admiral Lütjens, confident in his abilities, acknowledged the dangers ahead. While Bismarck outclassed British ships, the diminished task force was vulnerable to numerical superiority. Lütjens, aware of the risks, predicted he might not return. Despite the challenges, the mood aboard Bismarck was optimistic as it set sail toward the Norwegian Sea. The ship's commander, Captain Ernst, addressed the crew, emphasizing their objective of commerce raiding in the Atlantic, endangering England's existence. As Bismarck and the heavy cruiser Prinz Eugen attempted to break into the Atlantic, they faced detection by British naval units and RAF aircraft. Bismarck showcased its power, destroying HMS Hood at the Battle of the Denmark Strait and forcing HMS Prince of Wales to retreat. Subsequent British attempts to attack Bismarck with biplane torpedo bombers resulted in a minor structural hit. However, pilot John Moffat's daring approach and well-timed torpedo release inflicted damage, likely contributing to Bismarck's loss of speed and its eventual halt. The pursuit continued, and despite ship's thick armor, repeated torpedo attacks from British destroyers followed. The battleship's fate was sealed when it faced the combined firepower of British battleships and the heavy cruiser Dorsetshire. Bismarck sank on May 27, 1941, with only 118 survivors out of 2,224 crew members. The news of Bismarck's sinking brought immense relief to London. Churchill, eager for victory, had issued intense directives, but the successful outcome tempered tensions. The Battle of the Atlantic endured, but the demise of the Bismarck battleship provided a monetary triumph for the beleaguered nation. Churchill dramatically announced the news. bringing cheers from the assembly. As the waves settled and the echoes of the battle receded, the sinking of the mighty Bismarck became a testament to the unwavering determination of those who sought to safeguard freedom. In the face of adversity, the Royal Navy stood firm, turning the tide against the formidable adversary. For more legendary tales from the maritime history, keep watching Nautical Depths, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.